conservative groups like Freedom Works continue to support those aggressive protests at Democratic congressional town meetings on health care. And now the AFL-CIO is pushing back and plans to send their own people to these town halls for what could amount to a showdown between the union guys, union women, and conservative activists. Max Pappas, love that name, is the vice president for public policy at a group called Freedom Works, and Gerald Shea's the health policy analyst for the AFL-CIO. Gentlemen, you're both professionals. Tell me about this. The issues come up whether you guys are AstroTurf or not. Are you a paid official of this organization? This is what you do for a living?
I work
You're a professional.
I work at the headquarters in D.C.
You work for, right. and you get a salary from them?
Yeah.
Are you a lobbyist?
No, I'm not.
Well, how do you, you're here lobbying. I mean, you're lobbying Washington, you're pushing a point of view. Mm-hmm. How come you're not a lobbyist? I mean, how come you're not registered?
We're a 501c3.
Oh, you're nonpartisan?
We're also a 501c4.
You're nonpartisan?
Nonprofit.
And this is true. We're supposed to take this for real, that you guys are nonpartisan? But you're spending all your time destroying a democratic health care plan?
If you look at our opposition to a lot of Bush's policies, I think
No, but right now, you guys are killing these. You're going every town meeting in the world, blowing it apart.
Yep, just like we.
How many people you got working? How many people are on your payroll? DreamWorks, FreedomWorks, whatever it's called.
18.
18 employees. And how do you organize these meetings? These where people do like the Acorn type meetings where they show up at
mostly through the internet.
You know?
Yeah, we've got about 400,000 online members who we can contact with an email database that we have, send them information about when the town halls are, give them briefings on the healthcare reform plans.
So when you watch television, you see a disruption at a congressional meeting in Long Island, you see one in Philly, you see one down in Texas. You can spot, you know that's coming ahead of time. You know, in other words, you know what's going to happen at each one of these events.
No, we've been telling people to go to talk to their congressman for 25 years. That's how long Freedom Works. But
you're basically plotting this stuff.
We're telling our
people aren't spontaneously getting up in the morning, reading the paper, go, I better go to the congressman's meeting. I'm all upset about health care.
Oh, no, we tell them when the events are. We just usually don't get this many people on our side who show up.
Okay, so the question, are you AstroTurf or are you grassroots?
Well,
AstroTurf means an organized professional operation which leads to these rallies rather than something where a bunch of people are reading the paper that morning and they go, God, I better get down to headquarters.
All the people who are showing up are volunteers. If you're talking about AstroTurf being where you bus people in, like
no, we organize is what I mean.
Maybe like Move On bus people in, or if you have paid people like the unions do. No, we're not AstroTurf. We don't do that. Ours are all volunteers. You'll see their signs are painted by hand.
Okay. Okay, great. Let's go to you, Gerald. What do you make of this?
You know, people, it's really important that we have town hall meetings where people can discuss issues, and there's no more important issue than healthcare in the country today. People are just getting killed with healthcare costs, and this situation just is untenable as it stands now. So it's really important that this happens. I think it's really unfortunate that people are trying to disrupt these meetings, and using phrases like just say no is not going to get us a solution to the health care problem.
Is that the right way of approaching this debate over health care? We've been had this debate since Truman's time. We're not getting anywhere. We don't have a bill. Republicans say they have alternatives, but they never push them when they're in power. I keep asking these Republicans to come on, we got alternatives. I said, well, why don't you ever push them through when you're in power? Then we won't have the Democrats saying nothing's been done.
That was a huge failure of the Bush administration. We've been calling for health care reform for a decade, and unfortunately we don't see any of what we've been calling for in this proposal, which is why we're opposing it. We want reform. It's just going in the opposite direction of what we've suggested.
Well, these people that just say no, are they saying just say no to reforms that stop people from being denied coverage for pre-existing conditions? Are they saying just say no to portability, the ability to change jobs and keep the same health care plan? What are they saying no to? Do they really know, or is it just what you guys feed them?
No, I think they know something about the four pieces of legislation that have passed out of committee in Congress. And they don't like those packages as they are. I think maybe they're hoping that.
Well, they don't seem very sophisticated. They're just yelling no. What do they all say no to? What do they all? If I took each one of these people, put them under sodium pentothal, and asked them exactly what they're saying no to, what do they know they're saying no to?
I'd say they're saying no to the Senate bill that's come out of committee. They're saying no to the 3 committee pieces that have come out of the House. They know that each of those has something in common. They're all different aspects, but they all have a movement toward more government in the health care.
Well, Medicare is 100% health care.
And it's running out of money, and they're afraid.
But I've never met a person in the world that wants to get rid of Medicare. Not a single person.
But it's running out of money, and they're afraid that we're going to get a system where everybody's health care is running out of money, sort of like Medicare is running out of money.
Gerald?
As far as I can tell, they're just saying no to government involvement at all. And frankly, that's what got us in the healthcare crisis we're in today. We deregulated healthcare in the 80s, and prices just skyrocketed.
Well, some of these imbeciles, and they're led to be imbeciles by some points of view here, say keep the government out of Medicare. How can somebody say so? It's an entirely government-run operation initiated by the government, by the Democrats, Lyndon Johnson back in the 60s. And they say that's demented talk.
Yeah, you can't do that. Medicare is.
Well, why do people come and say just say no, keep government out of Medicare? It's balloon head talk.
They must not be. Some people aren't that well informed.
I'm just wondering whether any of them are.
And the projections are that if there were this modest public health insurance option that people have been proposing that are in the bills, it would cover 8 million people, 10 million people. It would not be a huge coverage. This is not going to replace private insurance. It hopefully is going to provide some real competition to force prices down. That's the whole ball game here, is controlling costs.
What do you folks in Freedom Works want to do for the 40-some million people that don't have health insurance? What are you going to do for them? I mean, just tell it. If it's nothing, say nothing.
No, we want reform.
No, what do you want to do for them so they get health insurance? Accessible and affordable.
We looked at those numbers. A big chunk of those people earn over $50,000 a year. Another chunk qualify for S-CHIP, which is government health care for the kids, Medicaid, which is government health care for the poor, and Medicare, which are 65 and over.
Well, why are our emergency rooms packed with people who will wait 4 or 5 hours to get something basic handled that should have come as part of their primary care? Well, if they're all insured, why are they in emergency rooms?
There are about 16 million people who don't fall into any of those categories and would qualify for some sort of government program. And we need to look at ways.
Are you saying that people are covered?
No, there are 46 million people in America who don't have insurance, but a big chunk of those.
No, but are you saying there's no problem with people not being insured in this country?
No, I'm saying there's about 16 million who we should probably focus on trying to find a way to lower the cost of health insurance so we can get them insurance.
But why don't the Republicans ever do that when they're in power? Why don't you do it? Does Cato Institute or Freedom Works ever pushed a bill to help those 16 million? When did you do it?
Sure. Senator DeMint had a bill.
Senator DeMint?
Yeah.
Senator DeMint is an activist for health care. He is the most anti-government, conservative guy in the world. And you're saying he had an activist program to do something for the uninsured.
John Shadegg in the House. And one thing that their bill has in common is they remove the limit of buying health care over state borders. I can buy anything in one state or in another state except for health insurance. So I have to pay $1,000 more a month if I'm in New Jersey.
I can understand why you guys don't like big government, but this is the incredible part of your argument. Because when you are in power, Ronald Reagan, they used to say, well, he had a different approach to Medicare. His approach was the MA approach. No approach. I mean, it's fair enough. Just say you're conservative. You're willing to suffer the loss of people who don't have health care. It's better that way than having a big government.
That's not what we're looking for.
Well, you want it both ways. You want to be seen as compassionate, but not do anything.
Let us buy insurance over state lines.
Okay, you've had Reagan in charge. You've had George Bush first in charge. You had 2 terms of George Bush Jr. And no time in that have I had somebody come on this show or anywhere else saying, we have to get a Republican health care plan to help uninsured people get insured. You guys are frauds.
We were as disappointed as you are.
Where was the we?
We're pushing them to do
this. Guy's the only guy since Truman with a chance to get a health care plan, and you guys are trying to kill it.
We think he's going in the wrong direction.
You're trying to kill the only plan on the table.
Well, it's the only plan that's getting.
I'm sorry. You're witness. What's the FLCIA going to do on this?
The issue here is controlling costs, and right now we have a monopoly by private insurers. Most states have 2 or maybe 3 insurers who control the entire market, or 75% of the market, which is entire. There's no competition. Their relationship with hospitals is basically a cozy relationship. They pay them to build all these new buildings and add all this machinery and so forth, and the prices are going sky high. And it's not just a problem of some people who don't have insurance.
Okay, Gerald, I'm going to be tough with you for 1 minute. Are you guys going to back this health care plan, or are you going to bitch and moan and say it's not enough?
We're going to back it.
You're going to back it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Max Pappas, thank you, sir. Holy Cross grad. I should be nicer to you, but I disagree with your whole crowd. That's all right. Gerald Shea, an Irish guy, went to BC.